let's talk about the new Steam devices.
Yes.
Because that's the first thing that happened last week that we barely missed because it happened literally Wednesday afternoon.
I think it happened, or all the videos came out on Thursday.
Yeah.
From what I
thought it was Wednesday.
Linus's video came out on Thursday.
Well, maybe he's just late.
Maybe.
I think
Dave
they just had an embargo time probably because there were some videos that came out Wednesday night.
Okay.
Did they?
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking like, I'm mad that we missed it, but thank God we missed it because I would have known nothing about it.
Right, Dave's was on the 12th. So yeah, Wednesday afternoon.
All right. Well, to give you guys a little bit of context, the Steam machine is this idea that Valve has had for a very long time. Valve is the company that makes Steam. It is the biggest gaming platform in the world. It runs on computers and you can play everything on it. And there's been this transition over the last few years of, you used to be able to have a console where you played on your TV or you had like a handheld device like a Nintendo DS or something. But there was never really this like melding of the two. And considering Steam has like almost every game ever made besides like Nintendo games on it. And maybe some exclusives to like consoles.
Yeah, I think more gaming companies are making their own launchers. It's like Battle.net and Epic. But I mean, it clearly has the most amount of games, period, on a single.
And it's like the most affordable. Steam is very famous. Everyone who's listening to this probably already knows this, but like Steam is very famous for its like insane mega sales during the summer and during the spring. And like everyone that has Steam has way too many games that they've never played. Mm-hmm. It's both a waste of money and also very fun to just collect software. Anyway, a number of years ago, Valve released the original Steam machines. And the idea of this was like, okay, we can kind of split the difference between being a gaming PC and a console. You should be able to just have something hooked up to your TV. You should be able to play it with a controller because, I mean, it's just a gaming console after all, but Valve is very hardcore about things working on Linux. It's all this stuff. That was a colossal failure because Valve has also been very much pro third party. And when they launched the original Steam machines, they launched them with a bunch of different companies that were doing it. There was like Alienware and there was Asus and there's all these different configurations. And to be honest, it was just very confusing. Those companies needed to make margin, all of this stuff. And so now what Valve is doing after the success of the Steam Deck, which came out a couple of years ago, 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago.
A couple years ago. I recently took ours from the office and I've been playing it nonstop.
The OLED one?
I think it's just the first one.
The regular one?
But I'm obsessed with it.
So like Valve kind of took the idea of what the Switch had done by, making a console that could be plugged into your TV or played remotely, and it put like a whole computer into a handheld console, which was really cool. That was super popular. And it kind of created this wave of new handheld gaming PCs that people are using. There's an Asus one that's very popular. There's a Lenovo one that's very popular. And now they decided to re-enter the Steam machine world. So we have 3 new announcements from Valve. Number 1 is the Steam machine again, but this time it is a small cube. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like optimized for Steam in a number of ways, and they're trying to create a little bit of an ecosystem because, as I mentioned before, them going to a bunch of third parties was like, that is good for choice, but it makes it hard to kind of sell a bunch of stuff together that works really well together. So all the hardware that they announced specifically works well together. So the new Steam machine is this small cube. It's running a semi-custom AMD solution with a Zen 4 CPU with peak frequencies of 4.8 gigahertz boost, and it has an RDNA 3 GPU running at 2.45 gigahertz. That sustains a 110 watt TDP. This is specifically designed to hit pretty much every single game on Steam at 4K 60 FPS. That is their goal with this, which is a pretty big ask. Specifically, obviously, that's using FSR, so it's like upscaling and that kind of stuff. But the point is that you should be able to, plug this into your TV and just like jump on any game on Steam, hit 60 FPS, 4K. Really cool.
I think that's a reasonable target also, 4K 60, because like, we're looking at this as more of a console, right? Like, I know PC gamers love to get way higher than that at a bunch of different crazy things with really, really expensive machines. But this isn't quite going after that market. This is a sit down on your couch and play.
It is interesting though, because it is also a full PC.
Agreed. But but what this is going at, like, this doesn't need to run 4K, 300 FPS, like crazy stuff that people can run on a $8,000 PC.
Right. It's like, it's a computer that is made to be played on your couch that can run all your Steam games. So they didn't announce a price yet. It is going to be probably more expensive than the traditional consoles, but that's because it has more access to more software and it runs SteamOS.
I spent so long on PC Parts Picker trying to like figure out more or less what this would be ish.
Like what it could cost.
Like what it could cost. Yeah. And I found something like the configuration I got, and I was like posting about this and people kept going back and forth with me, like what they got, what I got. Like, it seems like the average is like anywhere from 800 to like 1,000 ish, like the cheapest thing you can get that you would feel comfortable actually getting it to play. But then someone replied to me and they made a good point, which is like, they probably have deals that they can get with the like chip manufacturers and stuff like that they're making these like massive orders with to get the price even lower.
AMD and
so if it could be like $500-$600.
It's going to be more than that.
I think so too.
I think it'll be more. I think it'll be like $7.99.
Well,
that's where I was like landing. But if it's like 600, I think that's a steal.
That'd be awesome.
A really good thing Linus brought up was, well, first of all, he said this will probably be, they told him no price yet, but more closely resembling a PC than a gaming console. So I think we automatically go over $500 on that, right? But not only that, but like what consoles can do is because when you buy a new console, there's X amount of games that can subsidize the price of a console.
Yeah.
Because those are so expensive and you have to buy new games pretty much to buy those, where this is running Steam.
Yeah.
You could, X amount of these could ship out and you don't buy a single game for it because you have a library already and it's just a PC you can install stuff on. So like,
they actually have to make money on the hardware.
They have to really make money on the hardware for this. So it's most likely going to be, I think $750 is like a reasonable guess, but I wouldn't doubt if it's on the closer to 1,000 than 500.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like they just have to be careful though, because if it's too expensive, you could just build it your own. Like you can't upgrade some parts of this. So it's like,
there are certain things in this that you can't really build your own in terms of like connections with the controllers. Like they have better antennas and stuff inside of it. There was specifically the HDMI port being able to connect to your TV and wake the console itself through your TV remote. And like through that, you wouldn't really be able to do that on a regular PC being hooked up to it. So there are some benefits to this being like really made top down connecting to your TV.
There are a lot of optimizations. Like it has super fast pause and wake, where it can be, the game can be sort of in a suspended state for months on end, and then you press one button and it's instantly back to it. So they have a lot of optimizations around that.
On Steam Deck, that works incredibly. The game I'm playing right now is called Slay the Spire. It's been around forever, but it's like,
I started playing that over
you did start playing it. It's really fun.
It's really addictive. I could see though that game way better to play on a Steam Deck when you're sitting on a couch, because by my PC, I have to like kind of just get up and down.
Yeah, but like being able to just, because it's turn-based, at any time when anything happens, I can just put the controller down and sleep it. And it could be 3 days later and I could be in the middle of the same turn. So I'm assuming this is going to do the same thing.
Yeah. The IO ports are a little disappointing. They went with a lot of USB-A ports and only one USB-C port.
I saw people complaining about this.
Yeah. I would love for them to move towards USB-C. I do think that a lot of the traditional gaming hardware and PC hardware is still utilizing USB-A. So that's probably why they were thinking that. But one USB-C port just seems like a small amount. Either way, you're probably not even going to be using the ports that much. So
the way you charge the controller is through this magnetic puck that doubles as a 2.4 gigahertz connection to the game itself. But that puck plugs in and then charges the controller as well. Assuming the backside of that is a USB-A that it comes with, I guess it's just USB-C on the other side. You're probably plugging straight into the front of it. So that's what the USB port's for.
Right.
It could be C and could just be C to C. That would probably be better. But
I don't know. It has 16 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of VRAM. So it's also quite, I don't want to say modular, but they're releasing CAD files for it. So you should be able to replace the front panel with anything you want. There's already a company that is making like e-ink displays and stuff for it, and different types of stuff that you can run on it. Like you can show the like temperatures of the different components.
It was running like not benchmarks, but like specs and like heats and like graphs on the front through an e-ink display, because it's just a magnetic snap on the front of it. Which some people had like wooden textures on it. I'm sure D-Brand's going to go crazy because it's already flat.
People have been joking that this is a GameCube because it literally is a GameCube, and D-Brand has already announced that they are selling a GameCube wrap that makes it look like a GameCube.
Awesome. This is like, as a console that's going to live in a living room of people that live in a house. Thank you for not making this absurd. Like the PS5 to me still is insane. That's like
does not fit into anything.
No, I'm not putting that on my TV console. It just seems crazy. So like, not only that, but then making it modular on the front to be able to possibly add accents to it that would fit with the general aesthetic of a living room to not have to be everyone's gaming dungeon is awesome. And did you see the LED, the like user customizable LED bar on it?
Yes.
That's fantastic. One of the ways, like basically between the magnetic gap and the power buttons and IO ports on the front, there's a little IO bar that users can define what that will show, or a LED bar. I forgot what I said, but one of the ways you could do it is if you're downloading a game, it can show the progress of the downloading. So you could change the channel, watch TV while it's downloading, and then know how long you have until it's finished, and then swap back. Like, look, people are going to think of some really cool stuff.